This has Mavericks fans fired up. After last night's loss to the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks are currently sitting with a 3-2 record, and although that is an above 500 record, they've been off to a rocky start of the season, where most games were down by as much as 10 points after the first quarter, as we come out of the gates with low energy, not much of a sense of urgency, and playing at a much slower pace than what we need to be doing, which results in this team having to play from behind. And although we have won 3 of our 5 games, 2 of those games you can argue we could have won if we played a little bit differently. But everybody has their own talking points as to why the Dallas Mavericks are off to a weird start, as far as starting Derrick Lively over Daniel Gafford. Jason Kidd needs to know his lineups better, and even Luka Doncic on how he's not really playing up to his own standards and how he may not be bought in. But in an article that came out the other day highlights exactly what is going on with Luka Doncic and how he's going to take accountability for himself. So in this video, we're going to take a look at what exactly was said by Luka Doncic, what can we do to improve this team going forward, and whether or not we can expect to see any changes. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we start with today's video, we're currently sitting at 14,114 subscribers, which I appreciate dearly from everybody, getting that much closer to our goal of 15K. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, the live streams, the watch longs, the news vids, the giveaways, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But the Dallas Mavericks, they are off to a decent start. If you just look at our record, we're 3-2. It is above 500. But those 2 games that we did lose to the Phoenix Suns and the Houston Rockets, you could argue we could have won those games. In the Phoenix Suns game, the referees were involved the entire game. The Dallas Mavericks really couldn't get into a rhythm. Yusuf Nurkic was owning the paint, looking like prime Shaq, and we were just taken out of that game completely. And in the game last night to Houston Rockets, it was a similar instance where the refs were heavily involved in the first half. The second half, they did kind of fall back just a little bit, but they were still involved to the point where we really couldn't find our rhythm. But then also, our bigs were ineffective. Alfred Sengun didn't really have that great of a game, but he definitely outplayed Derrick Lively and Daniel Gafford to the point where we had to put Dwight Powell in the second quarter and play him a little bit in the third quarter until Jason Kidd decided to put Najee Marshall at the 4 and PJ Washington at the 5. And when he did that in the fourth quarter, Alfred Sengun scored 0 points on PJ Washington. We started to find a lineup that works, and a lot of people were wondering, what if we had that lineup earlier? What if we had better lineups throughout the entire game? What if we had better lineups throughout the entirety of the season so far? And we could play the what if game all day, but the truth of the matter is we do have a fairly new roster with 3 new additions that are going to shake up how things look. The style of play is different. The way we play is going to be completely different, and guys' roles are going to shift and change. And now that we have a 3-headed monster as opposed to a 2-headed monster in Luka and Kyrie, who did figure it out last season, now that we have Klay here, we have to figure out how, okay, Klay can get his shots, Klay can play defense, he can have a good game. Kyrie, you can have a good game. Luka, you can also have a good game. And it seems like it's either 2 of them going off or maybe just 1 of them going off. And last night, it did kind of look like they all had a decent game. I mean, Klay Thompson didn't shoot that well. Kyrie was pretty effective. And Luka Doncic, his stat sheet looks like he had a good game. But if you watch the game, you know that he didn't have the best of the first half. Even the third half was kind of rocky. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter until he actually got some shots to fall. But if we take a look right here, the article that came out just a few hours ago highlighting that Luka Doncic owns Mavericks' pretty bad start. Now it's time to step up. So let's see what Luka Doncic had to say. Doncic takes blame for slow start, sets expectations to improve. Against Houston, Doncic shot 5 of 13 from the field and 2 of 4 from the free throw line in the first half, and he picked up 3 fouls. Doncic was missing shots that he typically knocks down, and he is quite aware of his struggles from start. And that is true. When the game started, he was able to get things going. He did end up finishing the first quarter 3 of 8, and then he finished the first half being only 5 of 13. So it feels like he's still trying to force a lot of his shots. The shot quality isn't always there. And when it comes to Luka Doncic, we know that he'll take almost any shot. Almost any shot on the floor is his shot. But it doesn't seem to look like that so far in the season, where even when he's attacking the rim, it's a miss, or it's too short, or it just hits the backboard and just doesn't even hit the rim. As far as shot quality, Luka Doncic has got to improve that. This team looks great outside of Luka Doncic, but we need Luka to be Luka if we're going to win more games, if we're going to see a deep playoff run. We have Kyrie, who's looked great over the last 2-3 games. Klay Thompson didn't have the best game last night, but he did look good in the first 4 games. Even Najee Marshall has looked good over the last 2 games. PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively. We have a team that looks good, But we're not going far without Luka Doncic playing like Luka Doncic. And that is up to Jason Kidd on how he utilizes this entire team, the lineups, the rotations. And I wouldn't be surprised if come Sunday against the Orlando Magic, if Jason Kidd decides to start with a different rotation, a different lineup, just trying to see what works. It's not Luka's fault that we're not winning or that we're not 5-0. Again, we still have a positive record. And I'm not blaming Luka Doncic. But the fact of the matter is, Luka Doncic is not playing like Luka Doncic. But let's see how this article continues. After the game, Doncic took the blame for the team's slow start, and he knows that he has to be better. He said, "That's me," Doncic said when asked about the team's slow start. "I'm just starting pretty tough, pretty bad. So I'll take the blame because I got to do way better." Doncic then emphasized that he knows he has to step it up early in these games, and the numbers for the entire season show just how poorly he has been starting these games. It's hard to gauge exactly where he is at when it comes to getting into a full rhythm, and it's important to remember that he did miss the entire preseason with a calf contusion. He should be able to turn these slow starts around once he gets his legs underneath him, and he said that he is just trying to get back into my rhythm after missing all 4 preseason games. After the game, Doncic said that he felt a little bit like myself in the fourth quarter when he erupted for 15 points on 6 of 8 shooting from downtown, and those type of spurts show just how dominant he can be when he is in rhythm. And so there's a lot to unpack there. So yes, Luka Doncic missed all 4 preseason games. He had a calf contusion. He had a pretty lengthy, not a lengthy summer, he had a real short summer after the NBA Finals where he was hurt the entire Finals. So his health is still kind of up in the air whether or not he's fully healthy or still rehabbing some lingering injuries. We're not entirely sure on that. But the fact of the matter is he is starting these games pretty slow. He's forcing a lot of shots. He is playing good defense. He is passing the ball when he has a good look. There are some times where he does kind of just slow down the offense. He does a little ISO, and whether or not he makes it or not, it just slows everybody down as people are just standing around waiting for something to happen. The offense works better when things are moving. And we all know that with Luka Doncic's style of play, he likes to slow things down. He likes to slow the game to his own pace, and that's how he dominates. But against teams like the Houston Rockets, and even on Monday when we play against the Indiana Pacers, teams that play with a faster pace, with more intensity, you can try to slow them down, but teams like Houston last night, they're just going to keep going. And if we can't keep up, if we can't match that pace, then we're not going to win a lot of games. Some of these teams, yes, we can slow them down. Some of these teams, you got to pick it up. And there were times where Kyrie was on the floor. He was leading the offense. He was pushing the pace. Guys were running. The ball was moving. We were going on a run. And I'm not saying that maybe Kyrie needs to get the ball more than Luka, but something needs to happen. There has to be a change, and that may need to start with Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd knows this team better than any of us watching, so he needs to know exactly who needs to be in my starting lineup, who needs to come off the bench, how do my rotations need to look like. Obviously, with Luka being our best player, you've got to be able to trust him. You have to give him the room to make his mistakes and shoot himself back into rhythm and to really find himself now. But at the same time, as a coach, you need to know that, hey, you're kind of hurting us. I got to pull you out for a little bit, put someone else in, trying to see who can make things happen. The Dallas Mavericks are fine by all intents and purposes. We are fine. We're 3-2 over the first 5 games. We played the Orlando Magic on Sunday. Right after that, we played the Indiana Pacers. Shouldn't be too tough of a schedule, but with those back-to-backs, who knows? But the truth of the matter is we need Luka Doncic to be Luka Doncic. We are not going to go far without having our Luka on this team. Klay can go 6 of 10 from 3. Kyrie can drop a 25-point double-double if he really wants to. Derrick Lively and Daniel Gafford can have great games. But if we don't have that one guy to just ice games, to put him away, to just be that clutch player that we know he is, to take those big shots like he did against Minnesota, if we don't have that, we're not going to go far. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think that Luka Doncic has got to get out of this funk? Do you think it's him? Or do you think it might be something a little bit different? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. We could have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far to the video. Make sure you check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing a giveaway every single month, and the only way to enter our giveaways is to become a channel member of any tier. We will be live on Sunday as we go up against the Orlando Magic. There is no Paolo Banchero, so maybe we do get a win, but who knows? We'll be here, though. Y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.